Welcome back to Highlands. Postcards from the finish line here at the Boston Marathon. And remember, with Highlands, you want to stop your cramp, not your race. We're also brought to you by Polar. Chase your destiny. And chasing their destiny, the race director for the Boston Triathlon, Mr. Mike O'Neill, and one of our top pros in the sport, Angela Naeth. How you both doing?
Good morning, Bob.
Good, thanks.
Thanks so much. Hey, so Angela, for our folks out there, I mean, you won Ironman Texas, and you this last year has been a tough year, though, for you, right? Injuries?
Yeah, unfortunately, I broke my foot, so I had to kind of get that fixed up. I had some big toe pain, and then I stepped on something, and it broke, and it just wasn't quite healed enough. So,
right.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but.
So while you've been recouping, you've been working with Mike.
Yes,
on the
definitely.
Boston Triathlon. You guys are creating some programs for specifically for women and doing some really cool stuff. What I love what you guys are doing is you're looking at the sport of triathlon and trying to change a little bit, because we do have an issue with diversity. We do have an issue with accessibility and cost. Talk a little bit, Angela, talk a little bit about the coaching part of it and what you're trying to do by getting more women involved.
Yeah, I had this idea for a while, actually, for a few years, and I just decided to jump into it with Mike's help, and it's called I Race Like a Girl. It's a women's triathlon team, and the main purpose of it for me was just to give back and to kind of help women in sport.
Yes.
And so it's been developing ever since, and we're a big part of the Boston Tri. There's going to be a huge event there with us there, so it's been fun. It's been really exciting.
Love that. And Mike, I know that has been a big point of contention for you for years, is that we need more diversity in the sport of triathlon. We need more women involved. And for you, a couple of things that you've done really well with Boston Tri is, one, your numbers are really good. Your numbers of women are really good. The amount of people from diverse backgrounds is really good. You have a 50% discount for anybody 23 and under, which sort of solves another issue that, millennials don't like the sport. So talk a little bit about when you became a race director and realized, okay, if I'm going to change the game here, I better ante up.
Yeah, in addition to being an event director, I'm also Angela's manager. And
right.
So we had been at the Boston Triathlon and Lobsterman Triathlon. We were sort of 5 years into this initiative to say, we need to grow the sport,
right.
and we need more women in the sport. We need more young people in the sport, and in general, we need an approachable vibe. So anybody from any background, socioeconomic, ethnic, gender, feels welcome at our races.
Right.
And we're trying to break down, demystify this intimidating factor around, which I think is like, Ironman's great because it inspires, but it also intimidates regular people, right? So we think that we're a good sort of entry point, and we've been doing a lot of stuff for the past 4 or 5 years, which has got us in this really nice gender balance of 50-50. I'm not sure there are any other races that are in that situation.
Yes.
And 50% of our Facebook community are women. And then last year, unrelated to our race, in a conversation as Angela's manager, she said, hey, the sport triathlon's given me a lot, and I want to give back, and I have this idea. I want to start a women's team or a community called I Race Like a Girl, and what do you think about that? And would you help a little bit? And I said, I love it. Like, let's do it. And this is pretty incredible, because a lot of elite athletes have to be so self-focused to be successful, and it's a part of why I work with Angela, because she's so unique and special, and she's thinking about other people. And so we kind of brainstormed a little bit about, kind of my role is to help, validate the concept to some of the other sponsors.
Right.
And Angela really did the ask to them, hey, I'm doing this, will you support me? And everyone, Polar, Next Door, Red Bull, Shimano, Pearl Zumi, they all jumped on board and said, yeah, we'll do it. And nobody, probably including us, knew that it would be this big. I mean, we issued one press release, and Angela started doing a couple things on social media, and 65 women signed up to join the team. And this is
Yeah,
this is
it's been
all
fun.
shapes.
Cool.
This is all shapes and sizes and speeds, and that was really great. And so Angela came and raced Boston last year. She won the Boston Triathlon, and we thought, hey, instead of having this just be a virtual deal, let's invite all the girls to come race Boston with you.
Right. What's interesting is I was just at with USA Triathlon. We've been talking about how to grow the sport, and they actually have a booth here for USA Triathlon because it's like the orthopedic reality is anybody who gets over 40, 50, 60 years old and is still running, you better start riding a bike, right? You better start doing other stuff
Swimming.
because you just can't run. And there's obviously these races, a lot of them are 40, 50, 60% women participating. Do you see that as a good way to grow the sport as well, is having presence at some of the major marathons?
If you talk to me or Angela, it's all about women. I mean, it really is.
Yes.
I mean, 70-something% of the people running half marathons are women. And if you think about the length of that event and the time-wise,
right,
for the average person,
yes,
and an Olympic distance try or a sprint, you get into that get into that wheelhouse of
right,
that, for a sprint, hour and a half to 2 hours or 2.5 to 3 hours kind of deal, which is in somewhat similar space for a lot of those folks. So. We think it's great. I've been inspired by what Angela's doing with I mean, she's really working. She's doing all the work. She's on this team. She's real work.
It's
Like
fun, yeah.
building out website, communicating with the girls, creating connections, social media competitions and contests, and it's just incredible, the positive nature. And all of a sudden, all her sponsors thought they were just doing her a favor, are like, we just did a social media analysis on everything, and I Race Like a Girl is trending as one of our top things for our brand.
Very cool.
And that is super exciting to hear.
Yes. Well, and when I look at the sport of triathlon, if we look at our limitations, right? Very costly, equipment heavy, in the swim, right? Cold water, current, kelp, someone playing bongos on your head. Basically anything bad that can happen, happens in the swim, right? Can happen in the swim. So when you're dealing with that, and we're in this endurance entertainment marketplace with running, cycling, Spartan Race, Tough Mudder, Warrior Dash, Color Run, there's a lot in the entertainment marketplace, and you look at triathlon, you have those limitations. The swim could be scary, the bike is expensive, and there's might be not a lot of other people who look like me who are doing this. Is that part of what you're trying to deal with?
I mean, to be honest, I think that, and I want Angela to talk about it. I personally just been surprised by the interest and the demand. I mean, I knew it was good. I knew it was the right thing to do, but the demand and excitement's overwhelming.
Right.
We're bringing on this really interesting woman onto the team that I met, and she could become the first African-American elite triathlete. But if you talk to her, that's not necessarily her goal. Like, she has a good job. She got to the sport late. She's 33. She just happens to be fast. But what she really wants to do is she wants to help teach African-American kids how to swim, or be an inspirer to do that, because African-American kids have a 17% higher chance of drowning.
It's true.
And it's a real big problem. And so I called the boss lady, Angela, and said, "Hey, I met this woman. I think this would be great." And she occupies the space between you and the rest of the girls on the team. And here, I told her about her. She researched her a little bit. I said, if you think she's right for the team, then, the Boston Tri, we're going to sponsor her. We're going to fly her in to make sure her race Boston Triathlon. She also went to Tufts. She lives in Virginia, but she's got a tie to Boston, and we're working with one of her former college teammates who's here, and we're going to start doing coaching clinics around swim safety and stuff in the city, and then I went and leaned on a couple other of the sponsors and said, "Hey, we want you to help with the uniform here." And Pearl Zumi, Jeff Schaefer from Pearl was like, "Absolutely, let's do this." And so I think there's a lot of opportunities that are going to just keep going. This is just year one.
So, and you were also mentioning the other day when we were chatting about that a lot of your coaches are women, because women aren't intimidated by a female coach, and guys aren't intimidated by a female coach.
Absolutely, and Angela, one of the things Angela's I was just
If it's Angela.
I was actually just about to say how approachable Angela was. Now she's intimidating everyone. But no, it's true. We use all women coaches in all our clinics. They're much more approachable to other women, but also newbies, men, that
Yes.
might be too embarrassed to walk up and ask Dave Scott a question because he's like, whoa, Dave Scott,
He's
right?
Ironman
yeah,
champion. I'm
Yeah,
intimidated
yeah, I
by
can't
that
be like
guy.
that guy, and
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to ask a dumb question and have him think I'm a loser. And but Angela, maybe you can talk a little bit about what you just did in Austin, talking to that
actually,
group.
and just to affiliate it with my team. So part of the team was I wanted to give back and be able to have someone come up to me, talk to me, email me, call me if they had any questions about triathlon, nutrition. And the only real avenue for me to do that was to create this team. And so we have a website that has a private forum just for the team members. They can exclusively contact me at any time. Like, I really open myself up to them so that they can have that. Because when I started the sport, I wish I could talk to Lisa Bentley, but
Sure.
there was this gap that was not available for
Right.
me to talk to her. So I'm trying to close that gap for sure. And then just recently I went down to Austin and did a triathlon talk. I actually, about 80% of the people there were women, so that was really fun. And it's just fun to give back and be able to talk about the sport and be approachable for sure. It's huge.
A lot of times, I think it makes it more fun as
Yes.
a pro. When you go out and do, because it can be a very selfish and a very demanding sport.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing that all these other people are gaining from you and your experience, does it make it easier to get out and train? And obviously, you're dealing with your foot thing still, but does it? Are you more excited about the sport maybe than you were before?
Like the biggest thing for me is if I go to a race and I watch this race, I'm going to watch it on Monday. It just inspires me. Like every single person out there inspires me. And so when I think back to my racing and what I'm doing, I want to just be able to provide as much input, as much inspiration to anybody out there. Like the perfect example is my mom. When I first started to run, she would never run, and then she slowly started to run, and then I got her into the pool, and then I got her into the bike, and now she's part of the team. She hasn't done a triathlon yet, but
She doesn't need to. She's a triathlete.
No, she doesn't.
She could do.
But
Didn't
she
you
has
get
the
her on
ability.
Zwift this winter?
And she's on Zwift, and she goes on
Wahoo,
Zwift
and
like
so
my
it's
God.
just so
Angela's
much
partners
fun.
with Wahoo and Zwift, and she got her mom on both of those
Yes.
platforms
Oh,
this
she
winter,
loves
so
it.
she's up in Canada riding away in the winter.
Yeah. No, it's
Talking
been fun.
smack on, hey, I rode this.
Yeah, and she's someone who won't go and talk to someone, who won't put herself out there, and it's neat to see these little baby steps come to fruition, and now she's all in. So
I love that.
It's been fun.
I'll share a little story
Yes.
about Angela's excitement around I Race Like a Girl. She starting to log some serious bike miles and hammering. She's out in Boulder not too long ago, and she's hammering. She called me up like a little giddy kid on Christmas morning. She's like, "Oh my God, guess what just happened? I was out in Boulder and I was like flying, and I passed someone in an I Race Like a Girl kit. One of my girls on the
That's the
team.
best thing
But
ever.
they were like 4 lanes. Like there's
Yeah.
4 lanes, so she couldn't. She's like, I was thinking about like looping around and chasing her down, and but it was
good.
too dangerous,
Yeah.
But she just is so excited to sort of see the
fruits of her labor.
reality. And
Yeah.
I think that what I love about Angela is she's the perfect person to humanize everything
Yes.
that we're all trying to do, or we all should be trying to do.
Right.
And as she said, like, close that gap, make it accessible. And so these
new
pros
people,
aren't
yeah.
these pros aren't just these like people you see on TV and you can't talk to. They're people you can know and you can come up and talk to. And Angela cares how their race goes as much as how her own race went.
Well, and what's funny is think about most of our pros started as what? Age groupers.
Yeah,
Right? At one time they were like, oh my God, this is a cool sport. And next thing they know, oh, I can make a living doing this?
The
What's
real
that?
good ones for like a hot minute, 3 races in pro card.
Yeah. And then winning national titles and things like that. Yeah, no big deal. Mike, what's the date? Boston Tri.
So we have
Sold out yet?
It's actually.
Trending.
I feel like I'm gonna have to send out an email warning. I think it's been so many events that like even Ironman races aren't selling out.
Right.
So consumer behaviors change. But the event grew 70% last year, and we're tracking 70% ahead of last year. So the number of people we have took us to get to June last year.
Right.
So we will sell out. And last year, real quick, important is we added the kids race.
Yes.
Which is really, really important. So that's going again really to the younger side of things, but that's trying to give kids a positive pathway to avoid, sort of adolescent addiction and opioid Use, which is our
Big
actually
time.
our charitable partner
Yeah.
here in Boston at Boston Medical Center.
Okay.
And so the event grew so much last year. We had the kids, the sprint, and the Olympic all on the same day, and we felt like it cheapened experience. So we're moving the kids race to Saturday, the 29th of July, and it's timed around packet pickup. So parents that are coming to race, pick up their packet, cheer for the kids. The whole venue's built out. The kids can have their day. They can have their moment. And then the next day, July 30th, is the sprint in the Olympic distance for the adults. So that's the schedule for this year, and we're gonna link Angela up with. There's an all women's triathlon team here in Boston called Team Envision, and we're gonna connect them. And then there's 31 tri clubs in Boston, and we're going to reach out to the women within those tri clubs and try and create some social events the day or two before with I Race Like a Girl, and see how we can connect the female community even more.
Love it.
When Angela's here in Boston with the girls on the team.
Well, congrats on everything you guys are doing. So, any races this year?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep. In May is the start of it, and the goal is Kona. So that's
Wait, the goal is Kona this year.
Yes.
So the foot is that
Oh
good?
yeah, no, yes, no,
You're all good.
yeah, no. I'm just progressing it. Yeah, definitely.
Love that.
Yeah.
Angela Naeth, Mike O'Neill, thanks so much for taking time, you guys. Congrats on everything you guys are doing. You're helping to grow the sport, which is what it's all about.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
Hold on, everybody. We will be right